we bid you welcome. In this community of radical inclusion, we make space for what you believe and what you love. Your whole self is welcome here. In this community of open-hearted inclusion for all people, we do not expect that you think a certain way or restrict yourself to one set of beliefs. We only ask that you try to live a kindly, helpful life with the dignity proper to a human being. Welcome all who believe that religion is wider than any sect and deeper than any one set of opinions. Welcome all who might find in our friendship strength and encouragement for daily living. We are so grateful that you are here. My name is Nathan Whitehead, and I'm the service leader today. My pronouns are he and his. Thank you for spending your Sunday morning with us, whether you're here in person or joining us online. Hello. I'd like to extend a special welcome to any visitors who may be joining us for the first time today or 14th time today. Feel free to join us in Adams Hall downstairs for coffee and conversation afterwards. And now if you please take a moment to silence your cell phone, which I often forget to do. Do that, but you can use your cell phone to share with others that you're here. We'd like to spread that information. And speaking of additional information, we have some announcements today, including first up tonight at 7 p.m. in Adams Hall downstairs. Join us to watch and discuss Everybody. That's a movie that tells the story of three intersex individuals who have moved from childhoods marked by shame, secrecy, and non-consensual surgeries to thriving adulthoods. Next Sunday, June 23rd, is our second annual festival in the parking lot, Summerfest. There's going to be food and conversation, as well as yoga, games, crafts, and surprises for all ages. So bring a donation of non-perishable foods or some household supplies that we can use to help stock our brand new free little pantry that we're going to be setting up. So it's going to be a good time. And then next Wednesday, June 25th, join us as we watch and discuss a movie, 1946, The Mistranslation That Shifted Culture. It's a film that follows the story of researchers who trace the origins of the anti-gay movement among Christians to a grave mistranslation of the Bible in 1946. And it chronicles the discovery of the never-before-seen archives at Yale University, which unveil astonishing new revelations and cast significant doubt on any biblical basis for LGBTQIA+ prejudice. So, interesting there. And then lastly, it's that time. Do I have any examples? I don't, and I'm not wearing one, but it's our UUCF shirts. We're selling those T-shirts again. So if you have an interest in one of those, hey, we've got a model right there. Look at that. You can have a shirt just like that for only $20, but if it's cost prohibitive, feel free to see Hope or Tom or Liz, and they can hook you up as well. We're looking to get a uniform look, so that way we can, when we march in the July, is it July? Yes, July parade in Farmington, we can all look like we're a crew. All right, there's always cool stuff going on at our church, so make sure you check out the website and the emails for additional information. We made it. All right, through that, now let's stand as you're willing and able to join us to sing our first hymn of the day. It's hymn 301 in your gray hymnal, Touch the Earth, Reach the Sky. Johannesburg. They're a little bit more familiarly known as They Might Be Giants. They have a song, Why Does the Sun Shine? The sun is a mass of incandescent gas, a gigantic nuclear furnace, where hydrogen is built into helium at a temperature of millions of degrees. The sun is hot, the sun is not a place where we could live. But here on earth there'd be no life without the sun, without the light it gives. Almost had it. All right. Please join me in reciting our UUCF mission statement. We seek answers everywhere, include everyone, and live with compassion. And now Corey, our RE Director, Religious Education Director, has a message for all ages.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I see some kiddos in the back. Why don't you come up here so you can see? Come up. There's here in these first two rows, or if you want to sit here, right on the ground, or in the first two rows so you can see. I'm going to say I'm up here because I have pictures. I have a story. So if you want to sit in the rows here. You want to sit in the, no, you don't want to sit in the rows. You really want to sit in the stairs. We're creatures of habit. I'm trying to make it easier for y'all so you don't have to move your neck like that. There you go. All right. Before I start this story, let's look what's in the Wonder Box. I wonder if any of you can guess what's going to be in here. Yes, you're right. It is gift box / Wonder Box. We're still wondering what's inside, right? Who wants to grab that out? Grab that out? You can both grab it out. All right, now can you stand up and show everybody what that picture is? What's that picture of? It's the sun! It's the sun! Has anybody noticed that the sun is staying out much later these days?
Yes.
Yeah. Has it been hard to go to sleep
Yes.
on time?
Yes.
Or when you're normally... Yes.
Not for me, but I don't. Last night I went to sleep at 10 something.
I find myself looking at the clock and going, oh my goodness, it's 8 o'clock already? And eating dinner at 8 o'clock when we usually eat dinner, yes, much earlier. That sun is confusing me. And does anybody know why this is happening? Okay, I got it. You guys can sit down if you want.
Because it's summer?
Because it's summer. Is this about the sun staying out late?
Yeah.
Okay.
Soon I'm going to Japan, and when it's next summer.
Okay.
Next summer I'm going to Japan, but when I get there, day is night and night is day, so I'm going to have to change my sleep.
All right. Can you sneak me into your suitcase when you go to Japan? Because I really want to go. Okay.
I think it's for you.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
the picture that they had,
the sun.
the picture that isn't the sun, it's a bullhawk.
Oh.
It's a flying bullhawk.
Okay. I'm pretty sure this is the sun.
Wait, it's kind of
All right, let's get to the story, and we can talk about what we think that is later. All right. Last time I checked, that's the sun, though. Does everybody agree that's the sun?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So somebody said that the sun is staying out later because it's summer. And guess what? This Thursday is the summer solstice. And that means that here in the northern hemisphere, the sun will travel the longest path through the sky. And therefore, the day will have the most sunlight, and the night will have the least amount of dark. Yay! So, people all around the world celebrate the summer solstice. And one way of celebrating is to tell stories about the sun. So, I'm going to tell you a story that has a character that you may know already. I guess it gave it away, huh? Who is, not Hamlet, who is that character up there? Maui. How many of you seen the movie Moana? Okay. So there are lots of stories about Maui, and this one story is how Maui tamed the sun. So I'm going to tell you the story about how Maui tamed the sun. Are you ready?
That's impossible.
Okay. Well, that's what they said. Okay, we're going to find out. Let's listen. All right, ready? There once was a time, a long time ago, when the sun was always in a rush to cross the sky, and the days were much shorter. But all that changed now because of one brave and clever boy. And his name was? Maui, right. Maui lived, okay, because I haven't turned the slide yet. Maui lived with his family in a small village. The people of their village spent their days hunting, fishing, and working in the fields. But each day, the sun always set before their work was done. And at night, they talked around the campfire, and it was always the same. I wish the sun would slow down, his brother would say. It races across the sky, and it always sets too soon. It doesn't matter how early we get up. There's never enough daylight to catch our fish or collect all the water we need, his sister would add. Maui wondered how to make the sun stay in the sky longer. Then one day, while he was working in the fields, his gaze fell upon some flax. That's the crop that the villagers use to weave their baskets and make clothes. And he had an idea. The next evening, when they were gathered around the campfire, Maui said, I have thought of a way to make each day last longer. I think I can tame the sun. And just like you said, Colin, his family looked at him with amazement. Don't be silly, his father said. No one can tame the sun. Yeah, it's far too powerful. It is, right? That's a silly idea, huh? You can't even get close to it, said his brother. You'd be burnt like a twig on the campfire. At least listen to my idea, said Maui. There's nothing to lose. First, we must all go into the fields and gather up flax. Loads of it, enough to make a small mountain. Then I'll show you how to make a net that will be strong enough to capture the sun. Then we'll make him move more slowly across the sky. The next day, everyone went into the fields and collected flax. They worked hard and piled it high until they made a huge flax mountain. Then Maui showed them how to plait the flax into strong ropes. Watch carefully. Those are the ropes.
That looks 3D. That's real.
Well, yeah. Those are the ropes that they made.
Yeah, that's a real Pixar.
Then Maui showed them how to plait the ropes and to make a giant net that was big enough to catch and hold the sun. The whole village helped him. After many hours of plaiting and tying, they finally made a net big enough to please Maui. He gathered it up and set off with a small group of villagers. They traveled east for several days until they finally came to the cave where the sun slept. This is where the sun rises in the morning, he announced. We must work quickly. They unfolded the net and covered the entrance to the cave with it. Then they camouflaged the ropes with leaves and branches. Finally, to protect themselves, they rubbed themselves with mud and clay to protect themselves from the sun's fierce heat. Now they hid and they waited for the sun. It wasn't long before they saw the first glimmer of light coming from the cave. Then they felt the scorching heat. The men started to shake with fear. As the light grew more and more blinding, and the heat more and more stifling, it wasn't long. "Oh, this is madness," cried one of the men. "We're all going to be roasted." But suddenly, they heard a sharp shout from Maui. Pull the ropes as hard as you can." So they pulled. And with all their strength, they pulled, and the net fell over the sun. That sun. Does he look happy? No. What is this? Roared the sun, raging and struggling. Would you be happy if you were caught in a net? No.
He's gonna just burn it all.
Although the men, these were special ropes. Maui, I forgot to mention, Maui, this is a very important part, and this will make it all make sense. Maui said some special blessings over the ropes, and it made them super strong so they wouldn't burn. All right. Although, remember, this is a story. This is a myth. So just play with me here, all right? Although the men were terrified that the sun would burn them all, they pulled and strained as hard as they could so that the sun could not escape. Maui knew he had to do more than just hold the sun in the net. He rushed out from his hiding place and ran towards the sun. Even though the heat was scorching his body and his hair, he moved in closer. The sun roared even louder. "What are you doing? Are you trying to hurt me?" "No," answered Maui, "but you don't understand. You travel across the sky too fast, and we can't finish our work. We need more hours of sunlight so we can hunt and fish and build and repair our village houses." The sun was beginning to feel tired. It had used up a great deal of energy trying to struggle out of the net. "I don't think I could speed across the sky now, even if I wanted to," it said. "If we release you," said Maui, "will you promise to slow your journey down now?" "I can only go slow now," answered the sun, "for you have made me much weaker." The sun promised to do what Maui had asked him, and the villagers released the ropes. Maui's brothers and other men watched as the sun slowly lifted into the sky. They all smiled at Maui. They were very proud of him. To this day, the sun travels on its long, lonely path across the sky, giving us more hours. That's okay. Giving us more hours of sunlight. It's okay. And giving us more hours of sunlight than it used to. And now you know why. It's all because of Maui. So, thank you. Some people enjoyed my story. So there are many versions of this story, of this myth, right? In some versions, Maui and the sun work out a deal. For half of the year, the sun would move at a slower pace. Those days would be the summer days. And for the other half of the year, the sun could run as fast as it wanted. Those days would be the shorter days, which would be winter. Very good. So that's in between. So, he starts to slow down in the fall. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the story of Maui and the sun. I wish you all a happy solstice and happy Father's Day for all you fathers out there. And if you are willing and able, if you could please stand to form our rainbow arch. and to sing our youth out with hymn number 414 from our gray hymnal as we leave this friendly place.
We make space every Sunday for authentic and vulnerable sharing, which helps to build this congregation into a beloved community. We invite you to share what's going on in your life, to name your feelings and the people on your heart in need of prayer or good energy, best wishes, or a little help. We invite you to get into your body and investigate what emotions you're experiencing, to share them as you feel comfortable, so that we can help each other hold our joys, our grief, and our in-between feelings. You are welcome to come up and pick up a stone or stones from the table and infuse them or charge them with your joy and sorrow and place that in the singing bowl where its energy can ripple out to be held by all of us. Or if you'd like to verbally share something important on your heart, feel free to come up to the microphone and speak. And all are welcome to participate. So feel free to come and share if you joys, one for the sorrows, and one for the strength of the gathered community that can support you and bring you peace.
Good morning. I'm Becca Seaton. My pronouns are she, her, and I've been a member here at UUCF for a bit over a year. I want to thank everyone who has encouraged me to share more about earth-based and pagan beliefs here at UUCF. I'm so happy to get to talk to you about this today. So first, Thursday is the summer solstice. What is that? Well, the Earth does not rotate the sun straight up and down. We're tilted. And so on Thursday, our northern hemisphere will be pointed the most towards the sun that it is at any point in the year. At the North Pole, that means that the sun's never going to set. At the South Pole, it means that the sun doesn't rise. And for us here, it means that we get the longest days of sunlight. Humans have only recently come to understand that the sun is a mass of incandescent gas, or more accurately, plasma, whose radiation provides the energy for photosynthesis and thereby supports life on Earth. But that doesn't mean that ancient people didn't recognize the sun as essential to their lives. And I'd like to share with you today some deities through which our ancestors honored the sun. Let's start with the ancient Egyptians. Ra is the Egyptian sun god and the father of all the other gods in the pantheon. Happy Father's Day. He is said to have emerged from the watery nothingness of none and spoke the first word to create the world, which sounds a little familiar. Ra is also literally the sun, traveling across the sky in a boat called Manjet. He is born every morning, a baby, rising above the mountain of Manu. By midday, he is a man in the prime of his life, sometimes called Horus here, with the hawk head. In the evening, he's an old man, eventually dying as he disappears below the horizon. The boat takes him through the underworld, where every night he defeats the monster Apophis with the help of other gods. The monster's blood colors the sky red as Ra is reborn again in the dawn. In the New Kingdom, the later period of Egyptian history, Ra merged with another god to become Amun-Ra. This new god was seen as the divine father of the pharaoh and emphasized the power of the king. There was even a brief period of monotheism centered around Amun-Ra. And a fun fact, it was actually King Tut who restored polytheism. On to the ancient Greeks. Helios is a titan, the group of divine beings that came before Zeus and company. He lives in the vast ocean that surrounds the earth. And each day he drives his chariot across the sky, pulled by 4 winged horses. Because the sun's rays touch everything, he's thought to see and witness oaths. The Romans adopted Helios as they did many of the Greek gods. They renamed him Sol, which you'll recognize as the astronomical designation for our sun. Later, Emperor Aurelian added Invictus, to mean the unconquered sun and made Sol Invictus the supreme god of the empire. He's depicted on coins as having a halo of sunlight, an image we continue to associate with the Roman Empire today. Hinduism is the world's oldest still practiced religion, and Lord Surya is the Hindu sun god. He's still worshipped by many today. Surya can be seen as both a god and as the literal sun. He's often represented as driving a chariot across the sky pulled by 7 horses. His light creates the day-night cycle and gives energy to all living things. He's also the leader of the Navagraha, or 9 planets, which if you think about it, there's 9 things that you can see with the naked eye: sun, moon, Mercury, Venus, blah, blah. And that's influential in Hindu astrology. The great temple of Suryadula is dedicated to him and represents, oh noes, his chariot. And there's a cool image of his chariot wheels carved onto the side of this thing, but apparently we have a time limit on images. That's cool. If you've ever done yoga, you've done a practice honoring Surya with the Surya Namaskar, sun salutation. Many people would call these myths. Oh, here we go. Chariot wheels. The whole temple's supposed to look like a chariot. It's pretty cool. So, many people would call these stories myths, which is a word we think of as meaning not true. But I challenge you to rethink that. John Beckett, a UU and Druid writer, defines a myth as a story to live by. Myths tell us who we are, where we come from, where we belong, and what is good and right and true. It's worth considering the pluralistic conception of the divine that polytheists have, and the way that's different from this one path version that we may have been raised with in Christianity. Pluralism means that we can acknowledge the value in many religious approaches simultaneously. A story about a God doesn't have to be literally or historically true to have meaning, to bring value to our lives. Regardless of whether we interpret Ra, Helios, Sol, and Surya as distinct divine beings, manifestations of a greater divine, or simply stories, this lore's worth telling because it reveals the commonality of the human experience. These cultures honored and continue to honor the sun because they knew it played a crucial role in their world, as it does ours. Life on Earth would not exist without the light it gives. They imagined it as a god traveling across the sky in the mode most familiar to them: boats for the Egyptians, chariots for the Romans and ancient Indians. The lore around these gods changed as the culture changed. Ra became associated with kingship as the kings became more powerful. Sol grew in prominence as the Roman Empire dominated Europe. Today, we have a greater scientific understanding of the sun, but that doesn't make it any less worthy to be honored. There's no reason we can't see the sun as a divine being journeying across the sky and a massive incandescent gas simultaneously. Thank you.
And now if you can, thank you, Becca, for that. That was delightful. And if you guys can all remain seated, please, as we sing number 73 from our hymns, the Summer Chant, 2 times through.
Just the last verse.
Oh, just the last verse.
2 times.
In your pews, you'll find a little Dixie cup of sunflower seeds. Could you pass those down so everybody can have a little in their hand? These are the kind we feed the birds, not the roasted ones, so nobody gets snacky. Sunflowers are associated with the solstice for pretty obvious reasons. Sun, sunflower. Even though in Michigan here we aren't seeing any yet. Midsummer is a time for rest. This is true in most agricultural societies. The time of planting is done. It's not yet time for harvest. In modern society, we see this as a chance to take vacations. It's a break from school. At the winter solstice, we were wishing for the return of sunlight and warm days. But now is a time for savoring the moments that we have. We're going to meditate together and think about how we can slow down, enjoy each day of summer, and rest at this time. Please close your eyes with me. Imagine being outside in the morning. It's cool. The grass is wet from the dew. The sky is full of colors. Imagine the sunshine of the afternoon, how the sun feels hot on your skin. Perhaps you feel the stark contrast between the sun and water of a lake. The sky is bright blue and endless. Imagine being outside in the evening, the heat of the day radiating off the ground, lightning bugs dancing above the grass. Hold the sunflower seeds in your hand. Feel them. The hard, sharp edges, the dustiness. Picture yourself this summer finding rest, enjoying each moment, savoring what we have. And know that rest is not wasting time or being unproductive. Rest is necessary. Enjoyment is a purpose in and of itself, and every day is worth savoring. If you will, infuse this feeling into your seeds. Think about your wishes for this summer. In medieval Europe, there was a practice of lighting a wheel of hay on fire and rolling it down a hill. The wheel represented the sun, and if the wheel stayed alight all the way to the bottom, it was a good omen for the harvest. Now, I've been told that we cannot light a wheel of hay on fire and roll it down the hill at church. But the kids are in the basement right now decorating a wheel to look like the sun. We're going to place our sunflower seeds inside it and roll it down the hill, casting our seeds out into the world, maybe to grow, maybe to be eaten by the birds, as a lovely symbol of our wishes for summer. If you wish, you can place the seeds back in the Dixie cup so you don't have to hold those for the whole rest of service awkwardly. And we'll be meeting the kids outside after service. Thank you.
Generosity is one of the spiritual values we recognize as central to our personal and institutional well-being. You are now invited to participate in the blessing of giving as ushers come amongst you to accept gifts of the congregation. You may also give online via the QR code on the back of the order of service. Thank you. And please rise as you are willing and able to join us in our final song here, number 163, For the Earth Forever Turning. Our closing words this morning come from Ellen Hamilton. In faith together we light this small scrap of light, symbol of Grandfather Sun's enormous power, whose energy burns so brightly in these days of deep summer, catapulting the leaves and vines, vegetables, flowers, and fruits to astonishing size, lengths, and heights, spilling over the tops of cages, walls, and trellises, delighting and nurturing all beings. We bask in the warmth and the heat of these days with lightened hearts and quickened senses, in gratitude and in faith. Have a great day.